I only E Jose, like a pimp named Slickback, say the whole thing.
I'm starting to appreciate Pensacola more for what it is these days,
Mhm.
but it's like a lot of things you gotta like have your own motivation. It's not like you're not always gonna find
Yeah,
inspiration. And it's gonna
right.
be, I feel like almost a lot more pushback on ideas of like, why would you do that? Or like, why are you wearing that?
Yeah, and probably just because it's unfamiliar, 'cause
Yep,
people
I
probably
get
haven't
it.
seen it. But in Atlanta, it's probably like the complete opposite because everything's being done. Everything almost has been done. So everything's kind of saturated, but it gets done. I can say it kind of gets done properly. People are kind of individuals, kind of half and half, really.
The thing that interested me was like when I went to New York City, we were just visiting, and then I see people like just taking pictures out on the street, or people are just clearing the
Mhm.
way and just moving around them, or people have cameras up to their face. I'm like, wow, like it was like the first time I actually saw that. I'm like, people actually go out and do it,
Mhm.
and then they just think of it as like a normal thing, and it's easy just to post up and start playing an instrument and stuff, and get tips as people
Yeah,
walk by, which I'm like, that's really interesting. Just comes with bigger cities and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Me and
guess
my lady.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, so it's like I feel like a contrast, like I feel like underground music wise with Pensacola and Atlanta is like a lot of people here that slowly get like bigger and bigger shows, almost feel like a big fish in a small pond, but and a lot of them like look to Atlanta
Mhm.
to get to do their things. But do you feel like
Mhm.
from big fish and small pond to kind of like big fish and big pond kind of situation?
Yeah. Yeah. You're surrounded by even bigger fish. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing about Atlanta, we're so it's been like this for so long. Like you've had stars come out of here, but were people like case in point, Andre 3000 or even a Ti or a Killer Mike. You had these people who have become well renowned, but they are in their community. You will see them walking around playing the flute or shit. I seen Zaytoven at Stonecrest. It's a mall out here. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you see that. Hell, when we were doing those Love at the Underground shows, I needed something. I had to go grab a fan because it was just hot. And I knew somebody just around. He said he's gonna get it to him, so I was trying to get to him. I'm walking across the street and literally run into Little Scrappy. But I was so in the mode of just trying to get the show together. I didn't even tell him like, yo, we doing some music. Yo, just pop in right quick. Just see what we got going on. I was like, yo, what's up? What's happening? And just kept it pushing. But it's just like that because we regular people, we normal people, and we know they got lives too. So yeah, people trying to come here and be bigger star. Nah, you around the bigger stars.
That's interesting because I'm like, all right, a lot of people here are here all the time. It's like, oh, I'm gonna move to Atlanta and I'll blow up. But I'm like, I feel like competition breeds excellence, but it also is like you got to realize now you have more
Mhm.
competition in a place where no one knows who you are. You haven't built anything. You're not just gonna like kind of show
Right.
up and blow up.
Yeah, Atlanta has definitely become the new LA. It's definitely become a mecca as far as just at least starting something. I can't necessarily say for like music, like real execs here or like Def Jam and Rock Nation in New York and things like that. But it's definitely somewhere if you can make it here or if you can get some buzz here, you'll be all right. You can do something with that. That's
Catch a
notable.
wave.
Type. Yeah. Exactly.
That leads to a question I'll piggyback on later, but some I always forget to ask is
Mhm.
how did you get your artist name?
Bruh. Honestly, bro, I've been wanting to change it, to be honest with you. But so you know, I didn't necessarily grow up listening to him, but the Tyler the Creators definitely listen to Chance. But Chance the Rapper, Tyler the Creator, they had these names, and when I started making beats, I wasn't always rapping, wasn't always engineering. Started making beats, so I wasn't necessarily tripping on having a necessarily cool name. If it was long, it was long. I'm a producer. I don't really care about that. So, but I had a Mexican homie when I was younger in high school, middle school, and I was always at his house. And just the way I would eat, his parents, they was like, "Man, you an honorary Mexican, man. Like you, you family." And they found out my middle name.
We talked about this before with other people we brought on here, and it's always like I remember this story. It's Mark Rubio, and I'm probably butchering, but when he was coming up, they were like, "Hey, you gotta change your name. No one knows how to say that. Like they'll look at that and just not know what it is." And then he looked at the girl and was
Yeah.
like, "Do you know who Zach Galifianakis is?" And it's always interesting to me to hear like the origin stories because like if you give the name importance, people will understand how to say it. Kind of like how we switched
Exactly.
to Quintessential. It's like
Mhm.
here originally it's like what does that say? And after they hear it and hear the story and kind of like
Mhm.
being the truest form of yourself, the name
Mhm.
gave itself importance over time because of what it means to the people. So it's interesting
Right.
that you say you want
Right.
to change it
Right.
because I feel like I hear only Jose and I don't
Mhm.
think like, oh, that's a funny name. I'm like, there's some
Yeah.
respect and almost prestige at this point that comes with it because what you
You
built
get what I'm
off the
saying?
name you've made.
And that's the other breath, right? Like I said, I do want to change it, but me doing this for so long, like me going to shows, I was going to shows constantly. Um, I guess I'll get into that when the questions arise, but I would say the only E Jose, like a pimp named Slickback, say the whole thing. Like that's the whole spiel because people forget it. People forget it and they can't find me. 'Cause, you know, like the SEO ain't popping right now. Well, it wasn't popping then. I didn't have enough catalog. Things weren't in motion. So I would have to get that whole spiel every time I get on stage. And like I said, it's for me. It's for me so people know exactly what to look for, but it's also something for the, for the crowd to laugh at and loosen up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Kind of learn that. Like I said, just being outside, me and a homie, we'd go out on the belt line. Go on the belt line, little 5 points where all these people are, where the traffic is, and I would just talk. I would just talk to people, and I learned like giving people compliments and things like that. It'll loosen them up, and once you get them like that, they'll listen to anything you want to hear, especially your name.
Yeah, some I really respect from the first time I saw you perform, the first time I met you was you drove down to
Mhm.
Pensacola and you performed.
That long ass, yeah,
Yeah. And you left an
yeah, it
impression on
was,
everybody. Like it didn't matter if people
yeah,
were fucking with you, if people weren't listening at all.
nah,
You were there to
yeah,
be a professional and also give everybody a good experience. And like I said, you introduced yourself. You had people join along
hmm
to songs they've heard just now for the first time. And that is
hmm
what leaves an impression. But you just see like the care and love that you put into what you do in performing and also the music you make.
hell yeah. I think it's important. I think it's very important um, just as any brand owner. Uh, and that's what an artist is, a brand owner. Um, but it's important for us to not necessarily be a salesman, but we have to sell you on why it's important to listen to us. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'd be I'd be remiss. I'd be crazy as hell to drive 5 hours
Hmm.
to a city I never been to perform and keep my head down and not smile and not give that crowd energy, whether they were here for me or not, whether they listen to my type of music or not. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just asinine to me. Like how some artists do, and some of it might be arrogance and just like the bravado, and that's cool. The confidence is cool, but like as new artists they don't know how to perform and that sometimes plays against them. But nah, man, perform like you got 100,000 in front of you every
Hmm.
time.
Like
Yeah,
that.
it's interesting because go ahead, Jake.
Mhm.
I was saying I like that. I came across you through Micah. He was playing your song on SoundCloud while we're taking photos. I was like, who's this? I was like,
Much
shit.
love.
it was
Much
it
love to my
was
boy.
because I was going into like the music side of things, like because
Hmm.
uh
Hmm.
two songs that I like is Proud of You and Ease Your Mind. He showed me those.
Oh
And
wow. Oh
I
wow.
really I really do like those. Like it's not something I just, like,
Mhm.
I listen to one. It's like I something I put as a liked. on my playlist and go
Yeah,
back to listening
yeah.
again. So
No, I
yeah, I do.
appreciate that, man.
I wish I would have actually met you at when we were in Atlanta and you pulled up. It was just like 5 in the morning, and I
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
do
it was
it.
late as hell.
I couldn't do it. So,
that
but
that
yeah,
that
it's
drive back was a
it's
struggle.
yeah, it
Yeah, I
was a
already
struggle,
know.
but but yeah, it's really cool to listen to music and being able to talk to you and everything. So just want to say that.
I appreciate that, man. Likewise, likewise. I think I gotta shout out my man Jupiter. He's on that song. Um, I think it was cool. I'll speak on the concept of that tape later, but yeah, he did his thing on there. So that wasn't actually one of my favorite ones, but it's become one of my favorites because so many people have gravitated towards it. And I go back and listen to it. I realize why. So yeah, shout out to my man and appreciate you.
To
It's all good.
you, what is the importance of music? And that could be culturally,
Yeah.
to yourself.
Uh-huh.
How do you see music?
Got you. Music is DNA. Um, my mom used to tell me stories. 2 years old. I'm 28, so to give it a little context. Moms and pops in their 50s, mid 50s. But stories of me at 2 years old doing the Temptations. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie, but
Mm.
they have this scene where they're in suits and they sing "My Girl," and I was doing that at 2 years old, like performing the little bow and everything that they do at the end. If you know the movie, you understand. But I was doing that at 2 years old. I remember 5, 6, 7 years old. I got Alicia Keys songs in the key of A minor for a Christmas gift. I remember doing the Usher handstand. Was it the Let It Burn? No, I can't remember, but I know the video. It's like a little music break and he's dancing in the rain and he does a handstand. And I used to do that. I used to dance to Michael Jackson. I introduced to KRS Ones, DOS Effects, Tribe Called Quest, by my moms. That's all my Dukes, my pops. He put me on to the Temptations, Curtis Mayfield, David Ruffins. My sister and brother put me on to the T.I., Gucci's, Pastor Troy's. And I eventually got into my Mac Miller, Joey Badasses, J. Cole, Kendricks. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It it's been a beautiful journey. It's been a beautiful ride, man. Like I said, it's DNA. Vince Staples said something in an interview. He said something in an interview. Somebody asked him like, when did you when did you fall in love with hip hop? Right? And he was like, that like the question don't make sense. He's like, to me, it's always been there. Like, when do you fall in love with your moms? When you fall in love with your parents, you get what I'm saying? It's always been that. You know what I'm saying? This is a part of my life. It's always been that.
That's
I like
so well put. Because
that.
we interviewed Smooth Lettuce, one of the local DJs here, and he said like music to him is like breathing is how he described it. It's like it's something you just
Mhm.
do. It's not
Yeah,
learned, it's
yeah,
who you are.
yeah, for sure. If you do it, you understand it. I think somebody when they speak, if you don't experience it, I mean, you can still get it, but if you in it, you understand it. But Rick Rubin, he's
Yes.
like
Yes, 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 yes.
he's like a guru. I don't want to say guru, but like what am I trying to say? Like a shaman, like a monk when it comes to this music thing. Just the way he speaks, him and Pharrell, like they speak with such an eloquence. Even Kendrick Lamar, but they speak with such an eloquence. Restex is another one. When I listen to him, but they speak with such an eloquence and a poise about music, and it almost like in an esoteric way as well, where it's not even them speaking. It's whatever spirit that's in that room when they are, producing, curating, whatever it is they're curating. It's definitely outer body for sure.
Yeah, Rick Rubin's the creative act was a heavy inspiration on when I made the Get
Mhm,
to Creativity, kind of like prompting questions. I'm
mhm,
like, what is creativity?
mhm.
And I think creativity
Sorry
along
about that.
with
Go ahead.
music and all these other things, it's like it really is like who you are. If you are a creative in any way, it's kind of like it just feels natural to create something. And
Absolutely.
same thing with music, painting, all that.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, it's like I said, it's DNA.
and
It's
then
DNA. It's DNA. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
your album POV, I listen to that all the time because a lot of things you're saying I relate to. And a lot of times
Yeah.
the things in your music are things a lot of
Hmm.
people need to hear. And personally, a lot of times I need to hear it. Sometimes it'll just randomly pop up on, I'll be playing
Hmm.
random things on Spotify and it was like
Yeah.
let me like I said, ease your mind. I listen to it all the time, not just because it's smooth music. Like the music is good, but also the message is what's important. So I guess
Right.
what was your ideas, concepts, and just like inspirations behind your album POV?
Boy, I love this question. I love talking about
Process.
this album,
The
man.
process.
Love talking about this album, man, because it is layered. It is something. It is a think piece. But it didn't start out that way, and that's why I love it. Um, so the cover art, I just start with the cover art. It's my face. Like now I got locks. They coming down my back now. Pause. But but I had a homegirl when I was in college and she did art and she did it in that style that y'all see. However, if you go on her page and you see the other ones that she did, the other characters, like she did like Tentacion, she did Tyler Creator, she did like some other people, like custom joints, but they had X's on their eyes, right? But for me, I she didn't put anything on my eyes and she kind of drew like a mark on my face. And like either way, it was dope, right?
Mhm.
And so that was shit, bro. That was like 2019, maybe 2018. Real long time ago, you know what I'm saying? And I dropped POV 2024. Um, so making the album, it was over the course of a year, which started with Ease Your Mind. The producer that has most of the credits on the album, we did a project called Jose Hendrix, and he was pestering me. Everybody, all the homies was like telling me, like, man, you need another Jose Hendrix 2, blase blase. But and Jose Hendrix 2 was the duality of me, basically. It's like rapidy, like boom bap sounding, and then it's just like some rowdiness, like to go from like J. Cole to Schoolboy Q. It was like those type of moments on the album or whatever. But I just wasn't in that space. I had moved back home. Ego pride was in the way. Like I said, back home, mom's trying to figure things out with stress, and just trying to figure it out. Wasn't making music at the time. Like I would write here and there, but I get like maybe like a couple bars out, and I put my phone back down and just go do something. Take a walk. I pick my camera back up. I like to shoot nature or whatever, but it just wasn't hitting. And when my homie sent me that beat, I wrote that I wrote the whole song. I wrote the whole song in like 30 minutes because it just hit. And I told him, I was like, hey, yo, you keep sending joints like this, you gonna get you a Jose Hendrix too. Or I told him, I don't know if it'll be Jose Hendrix too, but you gonna get something out of it. And I'll be damned if he, over the course of, like I said, a year, just sending beats. Like some of them hit, some of them didn't. I take some, throw some away, give some to other people or whatever. And it just became what it became. If you my notes, I have a list of the songs. I was trying to figure out what I wanted on the album. I had a different cover. I had a good like I want to say like 24 songs. I want to say I had about 24 plus tracks that was supposed to be on the album or that I was just sifting through, trying to figure it out. And the meaning behind it though, get into the meaning. Like I said, the cover art doesn't have eyes, right? So like I said, move back home, moved back from Statesboro, was there for 2 years after I graduated. and I was going through these things. I was becoming a man. I was becoming an adult, and it's a tricky situation, especially when you're doing it sober.
Mhm.
I wasn't a heavy drinker, didn't smoke for real. That just wasn't my vibe. Did it occasionally, but like smoking was just like, nah, I don't smoke. But I, like I said, occasionally drink. So like I'm dealing with a lot of shit dolo, like I said, sober. And I would have these moments, like the people online, I would have these downloads. I would have these moments with God and myself, and and just having these epiphanies of, no, this is your fault. Like I found myself blaming a lot of people. I found myself blaming my childhood and not being guided in certain ways. And um, like I said, just as a man, even as a black man, you kind of have these nuances of upbringing that that chip away at you as you get older. And if you continue to run, it'll keep showing its face in the failures in your life, is what I recognized, right? And so, like I said, just blaming people, and things were happening. Like it was a point where me and my sister, didn't always have the best relationship, but we started to talk more. As I get older, I'm living life. I can understand her more. She can, she can vent to me a little bit differently now. And we had a falling out, and I wrote a song that day and recorded it that day. And in the song, and just like the whole album, you find these themes and you find these moments, and in these verses where it sounds like I'm blaming people, or I'm talking to somebody who's done me wrong, or I feel has done me wrong. And it's just layer. It's a layer where, no, I'm talking to myself. Oh, you did this to you. This is your choice. You made the decision to fire back. You made a decision to walk away. You. And the ill part about the cover art was the eyes. Again, that's why I said it first. But the eyes, almost in like the beauty is in the eye of the beholder type of thing, where if you listen to it, you think you're listening to me speak to someone who's wronged me, when I'm really talking to myself. And like you said, speaking about the album, um, when you hear it, it's some things that you need to hear at the time. It may give you a moment to self-reflect, and POV, point of view, change your point of view. And if you go back through my rollout of the album, I get the emojis I use. There was like a dead rose, a mirror, and then a rose that was standing up. And I kept saying, like, change your perspective. And that's what the whole album is about. Oh, that was pretty long.
No,
Cool. I like
that was really good. I think my favorite track on the album is I believe the interlude. I think that one speaks
Yeah.
because I often have like a lot of conversations with myself to where it's like you said, like you just want to blame everything else, but when you look in the mirror, it's like situations are going to happen, but it's always your choice of how you
Mhm,
react to them and how you choose to feel about them.
mhm, mhm.
And
And it's
it's
inevitable.
yes. And it's like
It's inevitable.
accepting the things you can't control and
Mhm.
and working on the
It's
things you
freedom in
can
that.
control.
Yeah, it's freedom in that. It's freedom in the whole phrase, let go and let God. Let Jesus take the
Mhm.
wheel. you know,
Like kind of take
it's
care of
truth
the
in
things
that.
you can't control and then control
You
the
know what I'm
things you
saying?
can.
And I'll take it further. I won't get too preachy, but um you gotta have a certain level of arrogance to believe you can control it.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? You there's a certain level of selfishness for you to believe that you, like I said, you have that control, that you have the power to withhold somebody from feeling a certain way, or lashing out, or not lashing out, but just reacting to your words. They're your words. Now it's on you to have the proper disposition, and you know, convey it properly, communicate it. Communication isn't about um just speaking a message. It isn't about articulating yourself. It's about articulating your point in a way that anyone can understand. And if somebody who maybe not be intelligent enough or hasn't had the experience to be able to allow them to relate, which brings us to the point of music, of art, of anything um that has to deal with, like I said, like I guess the arts, when conveying a message, whether it be through music, whether it be through a painting, whether it be through hell a podcast. What is the DNA of what you're trying to convey?
How do you balance your creative endeavors with the current expectations of, I guess
Hmm.
I'll I'll phrase it corporate music. Kind of like the need
Okay, so how do I not go mainstream?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, how do I not fall into those pit holes? Honestly, bro, it's really the upbringing. Not just like musically, like what I was influenced by or what I was given by, my family, but just the way I was raised, just raised to be a leader. Ease your mind. Pops taught me how to lead. You know what I'm saying? He
Mhm.
taught me how to speak up. At a young age, I was talking to like grocery clerks and McDonald's cashiers. Like I had to order for myself. Like he made sure like I spoke. I wasn't scared to speak up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, closed mouths
And
don't get
funny
fed.
enough, you get what I'm saying? Figuratively and literally. So, but for the album, just to bring it back to the album, that as a man carrying, like I said, there's a difference between that arrogance and confidence. Where, like I said, speaking to that, I like I said, hold on, having the confidence, like I said, to speak your mind, but having the right disposition to communicate it properly. And I've lost some things because of that. But to get back to your question, how I keep the integrity. Um, One, I listen to my influences. Um, Two, my circle. My circle. I was talking to one of the homies today. I work with one of the homies. Um, it's something that I'm dealing with right now is identity. In a real way, in a adult way, in a human way, not necessarily a artistic way, but everybody around me, from my mother to my lady to every single homie. I got a chat with 10 people, and they all carry their identity very well. They don't sway for nothing. They, even if it's weird, they gonna follow through. Even if they wrong, they gonna follow through. But it's them. I know I do it as well, but just having things on my plate, I haven't properly organized um the goal. I guess I'll put it that way. But um it's not very hard. It's not very hard to keep that integrity as far as my artistry goes. I'm not I grew up listening to, like I said, the T.I. Gucci Mane, Pastor Troy's and stuff like that, but
Mhm.
that's not what I gravitated towards. I didn't grow up in the hood. I didn't My people are. It's of me. I know how to navigate it, but that's not me. I don't never portray it as me. Um so just to give a little, I guess, testimonial on in a real way how I navigated it. I would do shows when I was in Georgia Southern. I would drive 3 hours up to Atlanta, do a 5 minute set, and drive 3 hours back. But these shows and these open mics, everybody is Lil Baby. Everybody's rapping the exact same. It's like 15, 25, sometimes 50 people on at these shows that got to perform, and they all sound the same. You have people, maybe some eclectic artists who do something completely different, or you have a singer who do something different, but other than that, everybody sounded the same. Everybody same type of beats, everybody on the same YouTube type beats, and it was just saturated. So it was very, 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 very easy to stand out. And like I said, taking it seriously. The camp I roll with, we don't perform with lyrics on our performance tracks
Mhm.
at all. Like, get right. Like, we tell each other, no, get right. What is you doing? Like, that's not the vibe. Like, you came to perform, so perform. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's
Yeah.
the point of you doing this if you're not gonna learn your lyrics? You wrote them. You get what I'm saying? Like, but that's
Yeah.
another conversation.
But
Um,
I'll I'll make a comment and I'll piggyback into our my
yeah,
next thing. But yeah, here
yeah,
we'll have a lot of people come up and like you said, a lot of them one sound the same, but two, they'll be like, yeah, I made this song yesterday, and then they
yeah,
only perform their ad libs and don't really perform the track. But when someone goes up there,
man.
like like with just to beat or just beat backing lyrics actually make a performance mix and perform it, you can really tell the difference in the passion of songs. Because like maybe the crowd,
Exactly.
your emotions you're feeling, you perform it this way, you say certain lines this way, you sing certain parts this way, and the emotion is carried, the intention of your song was already there to start with,
Mhm,
and then your
mhm.
delivery of it is kind of shown so then people can actually feel the music. If you just listen to it, I'm like,
You
you could
know
just did that at home. This could have been in a listening party where everybody sat down. Like it's supposed to be a performance.
exactly,
That goes into my
exactly, and I
go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, right quick, and the beauty about, knowing your lyrics, Lil Russell is a blueprint for it, but in your performance track doesn't necessarily always mirror the track on streaming platforms. You can, remix it. You could put different elements in the performance track that's not on the actual song, and you can create moments for the crowd. Like, you get what I'm saying? Or even,
Mhm.
like I said, for Russell, he changes the beats for his verses, so he just knows the lyrics and he can just do whatever he wants to do. It's like I said, it's an art form. It's beauty in that. It's freedom in that. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, the current accessibility of music, and I like asking this too because I like seeing
Ooh.
different artists' perspective. Because it is so
Mhm.
accessible now that now anybody has the power to create and the tools to create if they're willing to learn it. But also, how do you feel about the balance of oversaturation versus accessibility when it comes to music?
I think it has done um an extreme disservice to I won't I guess I'll include myself, but to people who genuinely care about this music, this music shit, the actual art of hip hop. I'm not even speaking on rap. Um, I'm kind of one of those hip hop enthusiasts, one of those old head type type
Mhm.
dudes, and I don't I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to those who actually work at the art of lyricism, who work at the art of cadence and flow, who do the research behind samples or as far as producers go, chopping the actual sample, not just not just, looping 8 bars of the sample and then putting drums on it. Nah, that's not what we doing. That's not what we doing this for. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I know. Excuse me. And even out here in Atlanta, you wouldn't believe it, but it's some real freestylers that can put you to work for real. That can really run circles around you, and half of them females, half of them is women. Excuse me, black women going stupid, going
No, I
crazy.
believe it.
Yeah, like going absolutely bonkers out here, bro. Like, but as far as the saturation goes, like I said, it's done a disservice to even some of the mainstream. Like somebody like a Loop from Dreamville, right? He put out one of the most like profound albums. Like he's actually one of the influence or like the inspirations behind POV. His album Goldmouth. It was personal, it was internal, um, and that was big on what I wanted to do for that album. It wasn't about lyricism. It wasn't about rapping my ass off. It was about giving a personal entry to my life, and I know, not hopefully, I know you can relate to it as long as you listen to it. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's people out here, it's artists out here, not just well, we on music, but in all facets of art who are genuinely incredible. And I think TikTok is doing a good job of getting people out, getting people shown. But it's it's diluting. It's I'm a 360 back to your question before. Is diluting the integrity.
I
Everybody
100%
just wants
agree.
to hit a lick. Yeah, everybody just want to hit a lick, and that's fine. I'm okay with that as well. I'm okay with that as well. But I got a song. I know you got it's traffic. I know you got a talent, but you holding up the traffic. It's really about, if you don't rest on your laurels, don't sit on your ass. Like if you got something going, like do it. I'm talking to myself shit right now. But those people are in the way. It's too much going on. Like respect to you for even getting up and trying to do something. But if it ain't of quality and you don't have a circle around you, and I'm not saying you really need these things, because who am I? I'm just an opinion. You get what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
had a respect for it. Actually do the work to make it good. And if you try your damnness and you putting in the work, I mean shit, you can do nothing but respect it, but at least try. At least, be authentic. Don't be a copycat. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
wasting other people's time. Like I said, you holding up traffic.
I would say my opinion on the whole thing is I wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily phrase it as a bad
Mhm.
thing. And I'll come back
Yeah.
to this, but like we interviewed Smooth Lettuce probably about a month ago now, and he
Mhm.
made a really good point. But it's interesting because
Yeah.
like even the people that really want to give the dedicated time, but they see over and over again and
Mhm.
get caught up with the not
Mhm.
necessarily like affirmation, not the word I'm looking for, but validation.
Mhm.
But it's like,
Yeah.
oh, let me play the game. So it almost forces like people that want to give
Yeah.
genuine effort to see their vision out. They want to play the
Right.
game because everybody else is pumping out something because it's easier to copy something than it is to uh, make something original. And I think we see that in all
Right.
facets of
Right.
media. I wouldn't say all, but lately I've been noticing it because you think like how
Yeah.
many original things are coming out right now. You see a lot of
Yeah.
you see more remakes and sequels. That's the way I'll put it. You think movies, you think video
Yeah, man.
games. It's like we want to
Mhm.
remake this old movie that's a classic with modern technology instead of coming up with our
Yeah.
original idea or making or continuing the story or adding more to the lore. But it's interesting because
Yeah.
like I feel like
More the
accessibility will
pyramid.
always be a good thing, but I feel like trying to
Mhm.
monetize everything is where we start going into like double-edged sword territory.
But man, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, double edged sword because the accessibility isn't always a good thing. It's good to have some gatekeepers. It was a reason why ancestors told stories word of mouth. Um, um, give a little quick history buff. Um, my uncle, he does capoeira. It's a Brazilian
The
art
dance
form.
martial art.
Eddie. Yes,
Yep.
yes. Eddie from Tekken. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And that came from slaves being shackled by their hands, and they had their feet free, and it was actual backflips and kicks and jumps to set themselves free. And it became a dance because it got outlawed in Brazil, and they have those circles, and the songs is going and they're singing, and it looks like they're dancing, but you'll see if you sit there long enough, they'll show you the martial arts side. But back then, they would be in those circles, they would sing their songs, they would do their dances because when the um, enforcements came, when the officers came, they would disguise it as a dance because if they caught you doing it, it would kill you on the spot, right? So what I'm saying is gatekeeping or keeping things sacred, I should say, is
That's a good way to put that.
important. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Keeping it for J. Cole, shout out J. Cole, for your eyes only. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it in its most truest form is important. Like the accessibility is cool, but um, you know what accessibility gets us? You know where that gets us? The government using woke as a bad thing and using it wrong. You get what I'm saying?
Here down in Florida,
That's
I'm familiar with that. War against woke.
you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? And I seen something today. Shout out to Deontay Kyle. What's the opposite of woke? Sleep. So you want to be sleep? It's bad to be woke, and we know what it means.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna go there. We can say that for a different podcast. We can do that
I'll go.
on some other.
I'll go there a little bit, but I'll bring it back to teaching, right?
Exactly, yeah. Right.
I'm noticing more and more of just dumbing it down. And it's funny because I'm also a coach, like basketball. We're in track
Mhm.
season right now. And I remember basketball season, I
Yeah.
told them we were doing this layup drill where they had to make 120 in like a certain amount of time. And they kept missing it. And
Yeah.
they just ran for their mistakes. And I was yelling at them and I said this. I'm like, I'm not going to lower the goal to match your effort. You got to raise your effort
Mhm.
to match the goal. I'm like, everybody says they want to win a
Absolutely.
championship. And I believe this is from Atomic Habits. They say you don't
Yeah.
rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, which is super relevant for track too, because it's like
For sure.
everybody lines up for the 100-meter dash, and everybody that lines up's
Mhm.
goal is to win. But
Mhm.
what means you're gonna win or not? Your systems, your training. Like we
Right.
just had a
Right.
conversation today. Like
Every
I want to practice.
Mhm.
It's hard. Well, yeah. If you want to win, you have to do what's hard. You have to be disciplined.
We just talk about preparation.
Hmm.
Preparation. Learn them lyrics. No backtrack, man.
I know you talked about
That's important though.
yeah, a lot about your team. What is the
Yeah.
importance to you of culture, or as I'll put it, building your own village?
Mhm. Shout out to you.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's and I think it's incredibly important, even at a time right now. I think it's scary because history repeats itself, and if you don't learn from it, it'll keep happening. Um, I made my brand 1990X The Village in 2021 around the times of George Floyd. When that happened, it was sitting on my chest to do it. It was sitting on my chest to do it, and I was scared or whatever. But when that happened, I was at work. I was at work, and they like prevented us from like speaking on George Floyd. They were like, "Nah, you can't talk about that right here because politics, whatever, whatever." Right.
Hmm.
And so I got in my car. I made a video. It's still on. I think it's still on my page for real. And it started that day. And the importance of having a village and having people you can go to when you can't get to everyone is very important. To have your own, like you just said, systems in place for preparation when things go to shit, or even not even when they go to shit, just to thrive. We don't need to panic. We just need to prepare.
That is a
And
fantastic way to
have
put that.
thank you. And the village concept was definitely from God. But I think it's important because you can't do everything. I'm gonna go back to Vince Staples. He said, "Why would I?" And I do this, and I know I shouldn't. I know it'd be easier for me if I didn't. But he said, if I rap and I'm the best rapper out of my group, why would I why would I try to figure out engineering when I know somebody's been working on engineering for the last 2, 3, 5 years and is working on mastering that and we can grow together. You get what I'm saying?
Mm,
And I got a photographer who could do that. And why would I try to set up a camera myself if I know they can do it? You get what I'm saying? You get where I'm going? There was 5 Power Rangers, goddammit, and it was even more to make the Megazord. We didn't wanna see one big ass red Megazord. It was different colors, you get what I'm saying? Like, and they all had their role. So and they all did their part to make each limb do what it was supposed to do. You get what I'm saying? Like,
mhm.
and that's what we profess at the in my camp for real when we was doing the shows. When we were doing the shows, um, I know this may sound hypocritical, but it's an attestament to the importance of being fixated on the goal, of everybody being fixated on the goal, but nobody's above being a janitor. You can't be the CEO if you haven't mopped the floors. That's like my thing for real. Like you got to do everything. Like me, um, I said we started it. I started it. The homies was with me, but I had the foresight to do this show. I had God on my side to put me in a position to where this lady was open to having somebody perform there or have a spot there. I was able to curate something with the homies. But I said it's 1998. 1990X on the on the marquee, but I'm at the door. I'm handling tickets. I'm taking out trash. I'm sweeping floors at the end of the night. I'm doing everything that would indicate, oh, he's not the owner of this. And it would really take people, it would really blow people away. They would go to the homies where like they got the following, they got the people behind them, and they think it's like really them, and they point to me, and they come outside like, bro, this show event. Yeah, I just smile. I'm like, yeah, bro, like it's all our event, but that's me. Like I'm saying, like, no, it's ours. It's
Mhm.
us. It's we. You know what I'm saying? But my homies told me like, start saying, nah, bro, it's you, man. Take that ownership. You get what I'm saying? But low key forgot the original question, but like I said, it's
You good.
the village, yeah, yeah. And in doing that though, it bred the DNA for the group. It bred a DNA for the business, for the um just for our foundation. Like nobody's above anything. And if you feel that way, just let me know. We'll just we'll just split ways. I said I ask people, do you want to be a role player, or you want to, seat at the table? Just let me know. I'm not mad at either or. It'll just allow me double back to what we said. It'll allow me proper communication, and it won't have me, I won't have expectations of you. You get what I'm saying? If I know you only want to do this when I'm expecting you to have a foresight for all of this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, and I think I have surrounded myself with a genuine group of black men who have foresight, who have identity, who have an understanding of what they want. And when we fall, either one of us, or any one of us fall short, we get in our heads because artists do that and men do that. Sometimes we pick each other up. We talk our shit like men do, but we lead with love at all points in time, and that's the center of all of it. Love, love.
I have a one question is like building your village and just, you know,
Mhm.
as time goes on and everything, what does success look like for you, or how far do you want to go with music?
Man, I'd be lying to you if I said I had a real answer for you right now, because I'm in question. um, However, there are some things going on to where a transition is being had, and I am accepting that transition. I am almost content, or um yeah, content with that transition, and decisions have to be made. Like I said, love love is still at the forefront, so I can't be mad, can't be upset, or and I have a certain vigor that I know I need to possess to get to where we want to be. But with I'm I'll say this, I'm gonna put this in the universe just for my just for my spirit and the homies. Dreamville just had their last festival, and I think either a 1990X festival or a Love You festival sounds pretty goddamn good to me.
Mhm. Something I
So
always say, well, is anything worth understanding is also worth asking questions about.
love that.
And me and Jake went on like at the start of Quintessential, we're like, hey, this is not worth doing if we're not going to take it seriously. If we're not going to put things out, take it.
Mhm,
Because it's one thing to say you
mhm,
want to do something, it's another thing to, put actions to the words you're saying. And
absolutely.
And
we,
putting a good name behind the brand and
Mhm,
everything else, which I feel like doing this stuff is what
mhm,
definitely has
mhm,
promoted it more than just like, oh, my
yeah,
friend made me a shirt. It's like, oh, it has meaning being
yeah,
the best
nah.
version of yourself and everything.
yeah, we
Hell
put
yeah.
it,
And I would just want to iterate. Hold on. I got to say this. Shout out to you, my boy, for the shirts. Folks love them shits too, bro. They love them shirts, bro. I gotta get them back in motion. That's on me. That's on me for the capital and all that. But hey, bro, thank you for that as well. Thank you.
no problem. And I guess I can touch on this too, because Jake semi brought it up. was like we were
Yeah.
making all these shirts, chasing design after design after design, and we're like, to
Mhm.
someone that doesn't know me, what does this word mean to them?
Mhm.
That's why we
Mm.
started the YouTube. We started posting on Instagram. It's like you see a Nike
Yeah.
check and you understand just do it. You know what that
Right.
represents. That's all you
Already.
need. And I'm
This
like, I want
symbol is the
quintessential.
phrase.
Yeah, I want quintessential,
Yeah.
Kyoga Shiloh, Wiley Beats. You see the name
Mhm.
and you have like it conveys some type of emotion. It's more than just, a sweater. It's like if when I'm wearing this, and what Jake said, when I'm wearing this shirt, I feel empowered. That's
Mhm.
kind of what we wanted to
Mhm.
push. And
For
because the
sure.
whole message of Quintessential and why we're doing this, why we brought you on, is people
Yeah.
being the truest form of yourself. Because there's so much fake right now.
Yeah.
There's so much fake right now, man. So much. Everything's polished. Everything is AI. And it's important to not get lost in that and understand who you are, because that is honestly the hardest question you have to answer for yourself a lot of times. Like I
Exactly.
said, anything worth
Exactly.
understanding is worth asking questions about. And it's like we are constantly changing, and it's
Mhm.
important to just understand who we are, why we're changing. And we can use the word
Mhm.
change, but I like switching change to the word growth. We're constantly
Absolutely. Yeah.
growing.
I like that word as well. I like to use evolve um only because it's still it's still I don't know the word I want to use, but it still shows what you had before. And I'll use like
Yes.
Pokemon for an example. You know what I'm saying? Like Squirtle to a Blastoise. It still has the shell. It still looks like the Squirtle, just bigger. It's just evolved and it has more powers. It still has a, squirt gun. I don't know the actual name for it, but now it's stronger. You know what I'm saying? I think evolving to your better self, it doesn't stop. It shouldn't stop. Like you said, I don't know exactly the quote you said, but the answering question, yeah.
Yeah. I like relaying. So I think it was 2019 when
Mhm.
I locked my hair up. Probably what I
Yeah.
called in what you someone could say. I said because I wouldn't call it the worst year of my life, where like
Wow.
COVID hit, all the things I was
Mhm.
building just got taken away.
Yeah.
The people I was closest to moved. I lost
Oh, wow.
the most important things to me, but then I locked my hair. And you know what's funny? I look
Mhm.
at how long my hair is now, and I think about the journey I
Mhm.
took. Because the whole time I
Mhm.
was trying to find out who is,
Mhm.
like, who am I? And that question I
Yeah.
had to answer. I was lost. I went to so many different things to try to like figure that out.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's like that's why I like using the word growth, because like I can remember different points in my
Mhm.
life, my feelings, emotions, my thoughts towards the world at my different hair lengths. And now I look myself in the mirror
Yep.
and I'm like in your words, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And and the beauty of it, there's so much more to come.
Exactly.
Who knows what it'll look like in it's cause the homie I was telling you about at work, um, he asked me about my hair as well. He was asking like would I cut it or anything like that. And I was like, I probably wouldn't. Uh I won't cut it till like they start thinning. I'll
Yeah.
probably like trim it to a certain length type of thing. But he was like, because he said in the next 4 years. And it made me think about like exactly what you just said. It just made me think like, man, where will I be in 4 years? What will my hair look like in 4 years? You know what I'm saying? Will I still have a job? Will this music thing actually, feed me? Will I do something else that feeds me? You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Who's gonna still be around? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Wiley
Yeah.
does a great job of reminding me. Like he'll pull
Yeah.
up and he'll be like, "Remember 3-4 years ago when we were heat pressing shirts after like we just got done making
Yeah.
something new?" And I'm like,
Now we're
"Remember
just
all
speed running shit. Like, "Oh, you want a shirt? Okay." And then we're just having a conversation about something else, and it's like, "Oh, it's done."
And I
Yeah.
remember the
Shit,
nights
man.
where
Time
it's,
fly.
2 a.m. We get
Hmm.
some didn't work, some didn't work. This whole thing we had planned worked, stayed up. I remember one day I was in the sweatshop,
Yeah.
6 a.m. and I had work tomorrow. I had to be there at 9. And I'm over here 30 minutes away from my house.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like,
Those
this
be
is what I want to do.
uh-huh. That's when you start planting them roots.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. I know them nights. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I did everything. I did dolo. I was in that room alone. We was in the cave. We was in the cave, man. Cause I was doing shirts at one point. I still got my press. I still got a printer press. I'm looking at my sublimation printer right now.
Yeah.
Like I've done it all. Yeah, bro. That's just cool to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like everything went full circle. I'm now trying to get rid of a bunch of clothes and I'm starting to go through everything I brought to my apartment. And I'm like, man, look at these original shirts. Look at these original mistakes.
I
And
got
I'm
about
Yeah.
like,
half of them. I
Oh,
got about half of them
I
now.
like that. Hold on. You just said something though. Oh, I like that. Original mistakes. You gotta
mhm.
do something with that. I like that. I like that. I might use that in the song. I'm not gonna hold you, bro.
Hey, but
Oh, that's so cold. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Do your thing. Do your
nah,
thing.
you good. But it's like
Write that down. Write that down.
I literally did.
Write
But
that down.
it's like, oh well, I guess this is going to a new topic, but it's like lately,
Yeah.
it's like this time of year, I feel like it's always emotion like almost like emotional seasons. To where it's like
Mhm.
certain times of the year you feel like certain returning emotions from things that happened in the past. And almost to me, at least lately, it almost feels like things are starting to repeat. But the difference is
Yeah.
in 2019, when I was talking about like what worst year of my life, something similar
Yeah.
has happened, but the way I'm
Mhm.
responding to it is completely different. Cause I look at it, I'm like,
Completely
I've made
different.
these mistakes before. I've been in this situation I
My
can
boy
control before, but now
in the
I
same
know what to
boat.
do. I can navigate different. I can respond different. The situation
Man,
doesn't have to determine who I am.
I feel great, don't it?
Yes,
It
we're still
feels
working on it,
amazing.
but
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know about
nah,
feeling
nah.
great, but I know so something that has got me through so much. Death of my
Mhm.
cousin, that's my dad way back. He was a pastor and he always
Mhm.
said this. He said the breakthrough point is just a little past the breakdown point. And every time I'm in
Say it
a
again.
hope, the
Say it again.
breakthrough point is just a little past the breakdown point.
For sure.
So every
For
time I'm in
sure.
this hopeless
Yeah.
situation, I don't know what the right direction is. I know if I'm at a breakdown point, if I just keep going a little bit farther,
Mhm.
the breakthrough
Yeah.
comes. And
Comment.
I'm a living testament of this because, like, I'll tell you this
Mhm.
story. 2020, uh,
Yeah.
in 3 days, my dad passed from COVID complications, and 2 days before, my
Sorry to hear
grandma
that, man.
passed. And
Condolences.
yeah, and August, my birthday is August 21st. So they set the funeral on August 20th, and I told them to do it because I, at the time, wanted to like show the rest of my family because at the time he was a local president of the NAACP when he was alive. He did so much for the community, and I was thinking like it literally felt like the city was kind of breaking down. Like my mom couldn't turn on the TV because everything on the news she would see it or hear something about COVID. And I'm like, I want to show everybody that even after this, the things he set up, the things he said, we can keep moving on. Because he said something else that really prompted why I even started doing the video essays, why I got with Jake, started Quintessential. And it's still something
Mhm.
I'm thinking about today. I remember one sermon. I can't even tell you what the sermon was about, but he said there is no success without a successor. And I kind of understand it a
Mm.
lot more now. To where it's like all the things he
Mm.
did while he was here,
Yeah.
how much would it mean if no one was there to carry it on, or if the work you did just ended when you ended? And
Right.
it's like, how are you
Right.
remembered? And
Mm.
it's like,
Mm.
when do people truly die? And that's like when they're forgotten.
Yeah. Coco, the movie Coco. I don't mean I don't mean to make it so lighthearted after that.
And it's
That's such
probably a
a
good
deep
thing.
story. No, but Coco is the Disney movie.
Yeah.
It touched on that. That was the whole like premise of the story. But I definitely believe that. I asked so just to bring it back to your story about the village, the village question, or I mean the question about the village in this story right here. I asked the homies and I asked people around me, I'm like, are you willing to not eat the fruit from the seed that you plant? You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Are you willing to put your effort into something that you'll never reap the benefits of? I feel like that's um kind of alluding to what you're speaking on.
Facts. And it's interesting because you brought up the George Floyd situation. That had a really interesting
Mhm.
like mental thing with me. I was watching the protest. I was watching my dad go out there and he was like, he told me a
Mhm.
story of when MLK died, my grandma kept him home. And he was like, we were out there protesting, and now the next generation's out there protesting. And I remember
Wow.
just looking into perspective,
Mhm.
like looking into like I knew Black history because I grew up in Black church. They
Right.
made sure we knew the history.
Yeah.
And I wrote this down during that time. And I said, sometimes the biggest dreams take more than a lifetime to achieve. Like you were saying, are you willing to not be able to
Mm,
eat the fruit
yeah.
from the seed you planted?
Man, shout out to Nip. The marathon still continues,
Mhm.
man. It still continues. You gotta put something out that's worth living for, man. I know a lot of hood legends. I think that's where we get caught up. We want the fame. We want the stardom. We want to be known globally. Now that's cool. That's definitely amazing and worth fighting for, but why is it not dope to be known by everybody in your city? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Almost like Killer Mike is a good example of that. Like he has his Grammy now, but there's a big point in time where nobody really mess with Killer Mike like that, but everybody in Atlanta do.
Mhm.
If you really and you really fuck with lyricism, you know who Killer Mike is, and you know what he's done for the game. I think it's something to be said about that. Same thing like you asked about success. I'll bring it back to just like adulthood and or manhood. My homie he said something. Like I said, just speaking to identity. Hell, even my lady has said this, but I don't need $1 billion. Hell, I may not even need $1 million a year. If I can get 250, 300,000, um, 500,000, whatever it may be, it doesn't have to be that mass amount of money a year. I'm cool. I can live off 250 a year. That's more than enough. And I know what to do with that to, for my children to eat and they children to eat. You know what I'm saying? I think the priorities need to shift in regards to that. And I
Facts.
think that, and I say that in regards to my response to being in this transition period. I think that's profound. Shout out to Pops, man.
Man only needs so much money. The rest is for show.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I feel
Shit, you
like
don't even really
And
don't.
Forrest Gump said
Jake opened my eyes a lot about the whole like value
Mhm.
of a dollar when
Yeah.
with the
How so?
job situation.
Hmm.
I'll let him tell the story, but it's like I
Hmm.
really value time so much more than any amount of money.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm working on it, but I know why. I know why. But go ahead, Jake.
I know, at least if it's what it's pertaining to is I worked a call center. I was working at a bank and
Hmm.
stuff, and then it's just I was making real good
Hmm.
money and stuff, and then I was just like, man, this is like I'm sitting behind a desk and I literally see the sunrise, almost the sunrise and sunset. It's just like
Hmm.
this is terrible,
Yeah.
and so I was set financially and had benefits and stuff, and then one day I was like, I'm gonna just leave. And then another thing that kind of added to that was when Bino passed away. It was like overnight, and I'm like, oh, I was
Hmm.
like, if we can just go
Condone.
overnight, then I'm gonna try to do something rather than just be known for sitting behind a desk and. sure I made some
Mm,
money. So I did lawn care for a little bit. And then
yeah.
right when I was about running out of money, because I there's a point where
Mm,
the your your time is going to outweigh the money, and then you're just going to go
mhm,
with wanting more time. And
mm,
then now, I
mhm,
was doing lawn care, and then of course I had to. It's easy. It's better now, but it was like I had to pay large amounts in
yeah,
taxes, and I was running out of money. So then I eventually
yeah,
found another job, and then now everything was just like way more
mhm,
flexible and stuff. So it all like worked out, and then right when it's at that breaking point, just a little bit
mhm,
further, you get to something
mhm,
that open up better, or give you an opportunity at least.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I'll
That's
say this:
amazing.
if you feel like you're getting
Yeah.
close to your
Go
breaking
ahead, go ahead.
point, that just means you're getting even closer to the breakthrough.
Hell yeah. Something so like simple and it's so literal, but like we don't really think about the eye of the storm, like a hurricane.
Mhm.
You go you on the outside at first, but if you get to the middle of that mud, it's very calm. You'll find peace in that in the middle of it. And
As
I'm
a
using that
Florida man, I can tell
strategically.
you some of the most beautiful sunsets on this earth happen in the
I'm
eye of
after
a
a hurricane.
hurricane, and I've
Oh, nah,
personally
okay.
seen them.
Very
Oh,
calming.
It's
that's
like all
scary.
this chaos, terror. It's
It's
so loud, and then it's just
Mhm.
nothing.
And that's obviously I can't attest to that, but I definitely take your word for it. But I think it's something very profound to say about that. It's something very profound because you're not even through the storm yet, but in the middle of it, in the darkest points of it, you're gonna find solace, like you just said, that breakthrough point.
It's almost like the
You're gonna
understanding
find
that,
that.
like, I will get through
Mhm.
this. Like, this
Yeah,
won't.
yeah.
My dad used to say this too. Trouble won't last always.
It won't. It can't.
Trouble won't
Storm
last
got to stop at
always.
some point. It got to stop at
right. And
some
then
point.
once
Monsoon
you
season stop.
you're in the calming eye, and then you got just one more wall to go through, and then you're out of it.
Mhm. It's like
Mhm.
the reassurance
Mhm.
that the sun, no matter if you can see it or not, is always rising and setting.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's.
Mhm.
I remember this one thing I just read somewhere. It was like some documentary in just some foreign country, and they were being like chased. And they were looking for them and stuff. And it's just
Mhm.
crazy how crazy stuff happens just over in different countries. And I guess once they were just about to get caught, and then they just like turn away. And
Mhm.
they said the one thing they noticed when they like stepped out of the house and everything, like, oh, the trees are still up. The sun's still rising, and it's just like it's just this calming thing out of all this chaos. And it's like there's hope. So kind of like
Man.
why one thing that helped me was I like plants as well. That's what just another side hobby. So I know like you care for something and actually see something grow, then you grow as well, or at least you see another day to see something flourish and just like as you nourish it, nourish yourself,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and you grow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there's so
I
much truth to that. You ever heard of the rice experiment? It was
I just seen it not too long ago, but what exactly is it?
so they three closed jars of rice. One you speak words to hate into, one you speak words of love into, and one you don't do anything. And they
Mm.
did it for a month. And by the end of the month, there was a significant difference between the rice you spoke love into and
Mhm.
the rice you spoke hate into that started to rot. And
Yeah.
it's like I
Yeah.
feel like music and just if you want to take it back to just vibrations in general, it's like that's what we're made of.
Mhm. Right.
Frequencies.
Vibrate frequencies. Yep. 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 Yep.
The
Yep.
positive and
It,
negative. It's like, think of all the religions, right? No matter
mhm.
what you believe or what you're listening to, there's
Mhm.
always a concept of karma, or you reproduce. So
Yeah.
there's another
Right.
one I'm missing too. Even the Japanese religions, it's all the same thing to where it's like, and manifest
Mhm.
speaking as a manifestation too, it's like
Yeah.
if you put it out there, the vibration will bounce
Mhm.
back. We talk about echoes. It's like
Right.
a single water droplet. You add enough, the
Mhm.
ripples will affect.
Right. 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 I think it's so something to be said about that. Obviously, for yourself, manifestation, and
Mhm.
putting things out there for yourself. Going back to the village, it was a point in time where we found out in real time, and it's already been said. It's not nothing like new or nothing, but we found out in real time what being in unison and frequency and vibration amongst multiple people can do for like reaching your goals. I love to tell this story, but we had an East Side show. It was maybe like our fifth show, max, like maybe our fifth show. And it was all the artists were from the east side of Atlanta. Most of them. We got some people from the south side, but m- e- no, for that show, everybody was from the east side. We even had a comedian come out. We had food. This was like our peak show. Um, up to that point, and we were finding out like one of the homies, Cozy. I knew his brother. His brother was 1 year above me, and I knew his cousins. I was a freshman when they were seniors on the varsity football team. The homie Kid, his homie Leo, we met through some sessions like we did a year prior to that. Come to find out, Leo knows a dude named Kareem who I met like maybe like 2 weeks before that. They all him Kareem's girl went to the same high school as Leo, and they both went to my alma mater, Shiloh. Like it was crazy. It was all like 1 degree of separation. And we different points in the time, people coming out because it's hot or like it's just so much energy. They stepping outside, and I was talking to everybody, and everybody was saying the same, like, bro, it's so much energy in here. Like, what is going on? This shit feels amazing. Da, da, da. And my homie said something. My homie said something that was so profound. I think about it daily, damn near daily. He said, God sees God. That frequency matched itself. And when I tell you multiplied exponentially, we knew we had something. And like we not necessarily fighting to get that back, but cultivate cultivate that same energy and create something even more massive at this point, more organized. Because if we can get that energy and organize it, oh, this is dangerous. It's dangerous. And the potential is infinite.
Yeah, I always like saying potential means nothing unless you do something with it.
For sure. For sure. I will say, man, you have definitely ignited something with me doing this conversation. I want to thank y'all for that for sure. I know this may not be the ending. I just wanted to iterate that at this point in time because I feel called to do so. The spirit moving right now. So I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man, we kept pushing this back, pushing this back. It was honestly, I blame myself even though I know I shouldn't, but it's like a lot of times it's easy to Coach Carter, it's like
Mm-hmm.
our biggest fear isn't that we're inadequate, but that we're powerful beyond our
Mm-hmm.
greatest our beliefs. And I see myself
Mm-hmm.
doing that so much. It's like I tell the kids all the time, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you scared of? And it's like a lot of
Yeah.
times you're scared of success. But I feel like
Yeah.
that's also because we
Mhm.
don't picture what success looks like to us. We have the goal, but
Yeah.
we don't start setting up the system. So Jake helped me a
Mhm.
lot. Like that's why I mess with
Yeah.
Wiley. He's one of I surround myself with people that will call me out when I'm messing up
Mhm. Yeah. No,
and
no,
pick me
yes,
up when
man.
I'm down as well.
Yeah,
Um,
no, yes, man. We don't need that.
there's one thing that I learned from a friend of mine. He's like an electrician now, and he has a family and everything. And I just remember from like the beginning when I first met him, he was like going to a trade school to do electricity. I remember, he was
Mhm.
just trying to get his life together because he's on probation, and then now to see him grow and have a family and stuff. And then one thing that he mentioned, he was because he's doing really well just electrician wise and stuff, and of course like family, and then he's making the
Mhm.
money. He's like, yeah, what I want to do is he bought a house, eventually
Yeah.
want to pay it off, try to like possibly rent it
Mhm.
out, and then make the money to get another house. And he said, he
Mhm.
wanted to make like a tiny home community where it's like all these tiny homes and
Yeah.
stuff for those who are like you know uh, you know lower income or whatever. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, it's like that's pretty cool if it happens. And then he says, when it happens. I was like, "Oh shit, okay,
Yeah,
all right."
yeah,
I was like, "Okay." So
yeah,
it actually, that I took that and ran with it. I was like, "You just really got to change your mindset like that." And then
mhm,
saying that a lot, and I said that to other a couple of my coworkers and stuff, and they actually take that too, and they're like, "Oh, when this happens," or even when I
mhm,
talk about something like, maybe it might happen one day, and then they say it back to me like,
yeah,
"Oh, when this happens," I'm like, "Oh shit,"
yeah.
like
You gotta
like
confirm it. You gotta confirm it for
it's
yourself.
like be careful what you wish for because you might get it, and it's like, oh, man.
For sure.
Just
And
that
if you're
one.
not specific enough, you're not gonna get
Oh
exactly
yeah,
what
he's
you.
like, "Oh, you got it," and it's like, "Oh, you didn't mention that."
Yeah, my lady's big on that. My lady's definitely big on that. She has that target, and even if it changes, she'll adjust it, adjust her aim, and keep firing. I admire that. Like I said, the people around me, like you just said, the people around me are fixated on their goals through their identity and being authentic. I think it's not more powerful and nothing more respected than that. At least for me, I see that in y'all.
Ever
Yeah,
seen
it
like
was
the
a while ago, and I was talking to them. We watched this. It was called a YouTube masterclass. Colin Samir. One of the inspirations why I wanted to even like start Quintessential Conversations, and like really get out and start having these talks with people. But they talked about is
Yeah,
like, okay, you have to answer the question when you make it. What does success look like to
yeah,
you? What is your day to day life? Not
mm,
just saying like, hey, I want $1 billion. So it's like, okay, when you're a billionaire, what does your day to day life look like? And that made me realize I slowed down on like making clothes. I
man.
still do, but it was like I don't like success
Yeah,
for a clothing brand means I'm packing orders, shipping stuff every single day. But I'm like,
right.
what we're doing right now, I'm like, I can see myself doing this every day, having conversations
Every
about the
day.
world around us. I can see
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
writing
That's
on topics, doing research, sitting in coffee shops. And you know what I did? I started going to
mm,
coffee shops consistently. If no one else was there,
yeah,
I'll still pull up, which I've gotten away from. And even having this conversation, I realize I'm like, when I'm not moving in what I know is my success, I
hmm.
can feel
Ooh,
it.
I like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a calling in a less cliche way. It's definitely a calling. It beckons you. It beckons you. It'll tap at you every day. And I wanted to say, this is why God's time and His perfect time. You talking about it, we pushing it back. Um, you just said what does success look like? My homie at work, he asked the question yesterday. He was like, um, what would you do if you woke up with 100,000 in your bank account? And we sat there and literally like the dopamine was hitting us just thinking about, all right, I'm gonna do this now, I'm gonna do that. Nah, I gotta do the debt. I gotta get that out the way. I gotta do this, gotta like just even going through that. And it's been podcasts about it, documentaries about it, that even putting yourself thinking about it, your mind is that powerful to where even if you think about it, you can create that existence for your body. Your body will feel like you have that 100,000 and you just paid off your debt, or you just gave your mom 25. You get what I'm saying? Like your body doesn't necessarily know the difference. So if you can maintain that state, if you can emphasize that state to yourself, um, the bounds are endless. I said my lady's profound at that shit.
reminds me of this. So I watch anime and stuff, and there's this one anime, My Hero, where the it was the villain, but he was
Yeah.
like, "I have all these paths that's gonna
Mhm.
give us to the common goal, basically to my end goal." So he has like multiple different
Mhm.
ways that will work. So I'm like, that's interesting
Yeah.
where you just have every single pass, and then each one's gonna get you to where you want to go. As long
Mhm.
as you have that in mind and just different steps and plan it all out.
Mhm. Yeah.
To close, I asked you this. I like asking everybody this.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to your childhood self?
Ooh, childhood self. Um, oh man, that's a very good question, bro. I don't want to hold you up, but I want to be thoughtful in my answer.
Like I said, we are not in a rush.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so give me some time. I may have to talk myself through it. Um,
I got one answer, at least for me.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Um.
for sure.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
go
you go.
first.
Yeah.
If a video I saw, it was I forgot what the video was, but basically at the end it was he basically asked that question, but I kind of have it like as a two part. And he was like, if you could tell you something to your past self, what would it be? And then also, if you need to hear something from your future self, what it would be. And I thought that to myself, and it was actually both the same answer. And it was
Mhm.
keep going, don't give up. And if I heard something from my future self, it would be keep going, don't give up.
And wow, that's actually incredible because what I'm about to say is kind of in line with that. But would tell myself, it gets better. It gets better. It's not. You have. This is what I would. This is the advice. You have everything you need. Use it. That's what I tell myself. For sure.
I love both your answers, and that's why we're
Yeah.
here right now because we keep talking about quintessential, and it's like there is no long, deep, profound thing. It's simple,
hmm
and I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
things are. I meant to touch on this earlier, but Smooth Lettuce said something that really stuck with me with his analogy. It's like
hmm
everybody has access to the same apple tree. Everybody can take the
hmm
apple off the tree, but it's up to
hmm
you to create something, whether that's apple pie, whether that's apple juice.
Yeah.
You have
hmm
the outlet. It's
hmm
like everybody has the resource for it to create
hmm
their canvas, to create their masterpiece. But it's up to
Right.
you to take
Right.
it and do something with it, cultivate it, and grow. With that, do
Love
you have
that.
any closing words and where can people find you?
Um, I'll do the closing words last. I can think of something. But you can find me at the only E Jose everywhere. Like a pimp named Slickback. You say the whole thing. I the only E Jose, just like Chance the Rapper, Tyler the Creator. I did want to give a shameless plug to my brand though.
Go ahead. You got the platform.
19 thank you. 1990X The Village. Generation of kids looking to be the X factor, working with each other, for each other, never without each other, recreating the concept of community, cultivating culture, and it's right in alignment with what my family right here is doing, having these conversations, one at a time, growing your family one at a time. At times like this, we need each other. It's evident that it may not get better sooner than later. um, so I think it's best we all stick together. Um, Let me see. Love yourself. That's what I tell the people. Love yourself.
Do you
That's
have
it.
anything, Jake?
That's it.
Yeah, going back just real quick, what would be your answer for that question we had, or the if you could ask yourself something in the past?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What's your
Yeah, we
answer?
didn't get your answer. You don't. I know. Yeah,
We ain't trying
I wrote that down.
to.
Yeah, what do you?
I was
Yeah,
like,
you didn't give us your answer.
listen, I give advice. I don't take it. I'm playing.
Hey, I said that shit. Don't say that.
um, for me, to my childhood self, I would tell myself that keep doing what you're doing, and
Mhm,
if you know it's what you're supposed to be doing, don't let anybody sway you from your path. Because there's been a lot
sure.
of times where things I was building, I stopped because of other people's opinions or just
Mhm,
outside influences. But getting back to them, it's like the freedom that feeling has. And as I'm older now, I realize that. And it's like everything I do is like, I'm going to be unapologetically me at every course. Because from church,
mhm,
from a private Christian school, I felt like I was always wearing a mask. And it got to the points where I look
mhm.
myself in the mirror and it's like, who am I? And I couldn't answer the
Yeah.
question because I kept changing masks and I didn't know which one was my real face anymore.
Bro, you just touched on something. I know we closing it out, but I wanted to bring it back. The whole saturation of the music and accessibility and everybody in the game, and it's you could attest it, not attest it, but you can compare it to society. Just the illusion of choice.
Mm.
The paradox of the illusion of choice. They've given us so many choices. We've all become copycats.
You
You get what
know,
I'm saying? and people
that's
lose
really
themselves.
good because even in bringing that to marketing, it's like
Hmm.
it's better. I talk to Damien about this all the time. It's like it's better to have two choices because if you give every single option, people will get so overwhelmed they won't buy anything. When they only have one option
Obama,
or two options, then they'll pick something.
exactly. Obama said that in an interview. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obama said that in the interview. He was like, "Man, I got one suit, maybe two, however I'm feeling, but my suit choice is the last thing I need to have on my mind because everything else is on my mind, and we need to do that through our lives. We need to audit our lives.
Mhm.
We need to have that spring cleaning, those spring cleaning
That's
moments.
literally what I'm doing,
But
aka
yeah,
pawning off all my old
yeah,
stuff to other people.
you know what I'm saying? Look, man, I'm in the
At the
process
expense
now,
of
bro.
Wiley. At the expense of Wiley.
Yeah, all my day I had to get a tub. It was all the holy.
Bro, the fact you have a tub and I still have so much stuff left is cool. But I'll say this, it's like in the gift of
Hmm.
creativity, it was really for me a spiritual journey of just not just
Hmm.
learning how to just complete the projects I start, but also like
Yeah.
the understanding I got from it. Because my biggest breakthrough and my favorite part of that video I made was a conversation I had with Alex, one of my friends that like we do art together, genuine person. And we were sitting there and we were having a conversation. She was having a real struggle with artist block. And the analogy
Hmm.
just came to me. I talked about how emotions, it's like we fill these jars with our emotions and we use those
Hmm.
emotions to kind of just paint our picture, create our art,
Yeah.
create our
Yeah.
masterpiece. But if we let those colors overfill, they start getting tainted.
Hmm.
It's like your anger is tainted with,
Yeah.
or sorry, your happiness is tainted with
Hmm.
anger. Your joy is tainted
Hmm.
with sadness. And it's like, if you let them all
Right.
mix, everything becomes gray. And that's how I kind of explained burnout. But as I was saying this,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not talking to her right now. I'm really talking to
At
myself.
all. At all. POV.
Hmm. And it was just,
Quintessential conversation. Got
yeah. And speaking, going back to the mask, like, I wouldn't necessarily call myself a music artist, even if I made music with Jake so much. But it's like a lot of the times I was like
yeah.
finding the right expression for the emotion you're feeling. Cause I remember we talked about Bino a little bit. When he passed, I wrote uh it was a couple things like I was feeling down. It reminded me of all the other things. I wrote the song Mask and I said, when you take off the mask and show us inside, what do you see behind the disguise? The love always comes with the lies,
Mm-hmm.
pieces of yourself you've been trying to hide. Pain in your soul, been trying to heal. Embrace yourself, release all the fear. Free from the past, let my vision be clear. Free from the past, let my vision be clear. Now I remember
Mm-hmm.
it was one of those times where it's like sometimes, Jake will make a beat, it's like, hey, let's practice something. Let's, create something. And I'll struggle to write. But it's one of
Yeah.
those times where it's like the words just kind of came to me because it's like I found the right
Mm-hmm.
expression of the frustration, the anger, just the
Mm-hmm.
pain and the sorrow I was feeling. And I think
Those
just,
vibrations and
mhm.
frequencies aligned.
And I'm like, whether it's sometimes painting, sometimes digital art,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes writing, like it's important for us to like find that expression for those emotions so we can release those colors, take the lids off the jars, and kind of
Mm.
continue creating our art, continue living our lives, and continue to grow.
Like that. Like that a lot. I love that. I say you end it right there.
Yeah. And with that being said,
That was a
this has been
yeah.
Quintessential Conversations with Only Jose. Thank y'all for watching. And if you made it this far, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We have more coming. And as always, keep it quintessential.